Hi, I'm Grace Henderson. Today we're going to feature a cultural icon in Dominica who is Raymond Lawrence. I want to say good afternoon to Mr. Lawrence and welcome to Dominicasource.com.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure being here with you on Dominicasource.com.
Definitely. Mr. Lawrence, I would like you to tell the Dominicans out there and the entire diaspora who is Mr. Raymond Lawrence.
Well, I probably would describe myself as a simple person. Um, at the moment, I'm the Chief Cultural Officer of Dominica. I'm also Chairman of the National Cultural Council. At present, I am also the Chairman of the Independence Committee that's about to begin here. But after school, I launched into a broadcasting career, mainly radio, but I've done a lot of television work as well, mainly reading news and doing some feature stuff and so. And then, after having worked at DBS for a period of time and Radio Antilles International in Montserrat for about 4 years, then when I returned home, I joined the Cultural Division. That was in 1982, and I've been with the department from since that time. I went off to study to do a certificate in management, came back, that was in Jamaica, came back, then went again to do a radio and television degree course, returned, and then went back to do a master's program in communications and culture. But I've always been with the culture department from since 1982.
So you have been in journalism for a while. Well, of course, when you hear of Raymond Lawrence, the first thing you think of culture, but you also remember that voice, the voice that you have. Perfect for radio and perfect for broadcasting.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Well, I firmly believe that gifts are God-given, so I thank God for it. Give him thanks and praise for that. I'm happy that I was able to launch into a broadcasting career, because while I was going to school, I never thought of broadcasting as such as a career. Neither did I think of arts and culture as a career. But again, by divine providence and divine guidance, I was led into both the broadcasting on radio in Dominica and in Montserrat mainly, and into arts and culture as well, full time. So, and both proved to be very, very rewarding, I would say. Very interesting, very enjoyable. So, because it's good when you love going to work and you enjoy what you're doing. So because that helps you to work even better.
Yeah. So you have been with the Cultural Division since 1982.
That's right. Yeah.
That should be 27 years?
About that, yes.
Yes. So did you start it as a Chief Cultural Officer, or you were something and then you went on to that?
I was Cultural Officer from 1982. At the time, Baldwin Bully was Chief Cultural Officer. And then he left in 1987. That was 5 years after I joined the department. He left for Jamaica to join UNESCO. Right about the same time, I also left, in a sense, with him. I went up to the States to do a degree, 87, and I came back in 1990. So it's when I came back in 1990 that they asked me to take charge of the department. And I was officer in charge because they had, in a sense, sort of done away with the office of Chief Cultural Officer. So I was officer in charge from 19, and then in 1993 officially made Chief Cultural Officer.
Okay. Mr. Lawrence, what has been your disappointment as Chief Cultural Officer?
Well, I mean, you always hope for more support in a way, for culture generally. And that's just a sort of a general. And culture could always do with, more support, because culture needs facilities, you need training spaces, you need studios, you need lots of teachers now for the arts, especially now that it's been introduced into the national curriculum. You need more training, more scholarships being given, you need more funding for equipment, for materials, for programs that you're doing, you know. So while I think we've done a lot, thank God again, our staff, although limited, we were able to do as much as we could, I think, within our constraints. But I still feel there's always room for improvement, and that even more support could be given to to arts and culture.
So do you think that you have done all in your power to promote our cultural heritage in Dominica?
Well, I've tried, and with God's help, I mean, I remember when we started many years ago. Yeah, well, you kind of judge maybe what you do based to a certain extent on the kind of feedback you get from the public. Although you cannot base feedback on public all the time, you know, as a sort of a judge. Some criteria again might be if you see improvements in terms of increase of numbers of groups and people taking part. If you see a lot of greater interest in people participating in culture. And I must say though that through the years we have seen growth in those areas. A lot of, especially at Independence Time, you see a lot of groups, a lot of young people. I mean, while on one side there are young people maybe who are maybe a little more influenced now by television and by the North American culture, but you're still seeing a lot of young people still involved in Dominica's culture, a lot of children very much involved in Dominica's culture. So I think that's a sign of growth. Also in terms of the quality of presentations, their costumes, the way they execute their dances, the stage presentations, the quality is better, has grown. Public participation, I think last year we saw many people attending cultural events, all three, reunion. Maybe you can describe last year as probably one of the most successful years we've ever had in culture in Dominica.
Well, Mr. Lawrence, I'd like to personally commend you as the Chief Cultural Officer on behalf of myself and the staff of Dominicasource for an excellent performance last year. It was well attended at the stadium. Filled, I've never seen the stadium filled like this before, except for like occasions like Calypso and that sort of thing. But the level of support that Dominicans gave truly opening up independence, and the performance there was marvelous.
Thank you very much. Yes, and for that particular event, I remember we got some very good feedback and incredible feedback. So you know, based on those things, you feel in a way that you've sort of made a contribution and made an impact. So hopefully, you know, we are trying to train a lot of young people so that after the group of us who are at my age and those of us who've been around for a while, in a sense, when we retire, because I guess it has to reach a point where you retire, then hopefully there will be people there who are able and willing to take it on.
So are you satisfied with the level of support from the government towards your cultural heritage?
Well, I mean, as I said earlier, I think you know, everybody can do more, not just government. The government, yes, can play a greater role, and maybe needs to look at arts and culture again, and the role of arts and culture, and the importance of arts and culture. You know, because sometimes you know arts and culture sort of falls at the bottom or towards the bottom of the list of priorities. But now you're realizing that there are lots of people who can find employment. I mean, there are graphics places opening up. There are music persons in bands and recordings and CDs, and people are getting into film. People are getting into theater. There's the whole craft and art industries, you know.